All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Omar Thabi, and I am live here with the Superintendent of Hamtramck Public Schools, Miss Jaleelah Ahmed. First of all, Miss Ahmed, I just want to say thank you so much for doing this interview with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
All right, well, let's get it going because I do have a lot of questions to ask you, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know a lot more about Miss Jaleelah Ahmed. I mean, people may know you, but I got some questions that might even get to know you a little more. So first, can you tell us about yourself from younger age until where you're at now in life?
Sure. So I'm from New York, and I have 8 brothers and 2 sisters, so big family, and I'm the oldest, so you can imagine.
Yeah.
I have been in the field of education since 1996, started working with children in Detroit, and then served in Dearborn for many years, Detroit, back again, Flint, and now I'm in Hamtramck. I love children. I believe that all children will thrive when the expectations are clearly defined to them and the expectations are high. My husband is a retired teacher, educator, and I have 5 children that keep me very busy.
That is awesome. That is awesome. That's a mashallah big family, and I'm sure you love the fact that you're a big family. I did not know you're the oldest. That's
Yes,
like
I'm the oldest. Yep.
yeah, that's like a whole nother level of responsibility right there, of being the oldest. But
Yes.
I mean, I guess that makes sense because the way that you carry yourself and the way that you go about life, it kind of makes sense. You kind of are the leader that you are, so makes sense. So my next question is, how does it feel to be the first Yemeni-American woman to become superintendent for public schools, not only in Michigan, but in the United States of America? That's like an accomplishment itself that is so amazing. So how does it feel to be that?
It's definitely very motivating to know that young girls have someone like to look at, and especially in a male-dominated field. For them to know that yes, you can and you will. I want them to. I want all girls to know that they can do anything that they set their mind to do. While a woman of color may have to work much harder, she should strive for excellence and never let rejection, failure, or people's opinions cloud her path to success. She can and she will. And I say it so many times to the young girls that I speak with. I was told that I was such a brilliant teacher, with students. Why would I leave that? Why would I go into administration? Why become a principal? Because that was the first thing that I sought out to do. And it just felt like students needed more. Students needed me. I wanted to serve in a larger capacity. And knowing and seeing what I saw, it wasn't enough for me to be a teacher when I knew that I could make a difference in a much larger capacity, in a school building, or an entire school district.
Powerful. That is definitely powerful. And I see that my sister is watching, and I don't know if I ever told you this, but you remind me so much of my sister. You guys are so similar in the way that you carry yourselves, and I'm sure that when she's watching this, she's probably at home like nodding her head. Everything that you're saying right now, she's probably nodding her head. Yeah, yep, that's exactly. And she's walking in the same footsteps as you as well. So it's just, I'm looking forward to seeing her grow as well. Inshallah. So as the superintendent, of Hamtramck Public Schools, what are some of the things that you wanted to change once you first stepped into the position?
So stepping into the superintendent's role after serving HPS for so many years, one of the things was seeing the inequities. My first goal was to eliminate the 10 portables at Dickinson West that housed 250 students. that's not a secure, that's not a safe or equitable or conducive, environment for our students and teachers. So I studied the situation and came to realize that in Michigan, Michigan is one of 12 states that does not provide, and this is in the nation, that does not provide any capital for school infrastructure. So, this really, bothered me, and I worked hard with various stakeholders to understand, what can we do? Because, we can't turn a blind eye, at the portables. This is an issue. We can't have, these one classroom trailers, become a permanency in our district. So I worked with various people and learned that the only way that we could really get rid of them and make the school improvements that were necessary was through a bond. So the board team and I started a year-long, work to get the Bond 2020. The Bond 2020 is very important because it will, support, the school infrastructures. And I've always said it, we can't get to the academics if we don't meet the physiological needs. That's, the first thing that we need to accomplish. So that was one of the first priorities that I had, and it's been a year-long process. August 4th will be the election for the bond proposal, and we'll see what the community wants. At the end of the day, it's in the hands of our taxpayers, and if they vote yes, this is wonderful news. We'll make the improvements in all of the buildings. If they say no, we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do, because this is not something that we can be good with or agree to. It really commands us to put a lot of attention to this issue and serve all students in more equitable measures.
Definitely. And this is the proposal is something that you can vote on Tuesday, August 3rd, correct? Next week, Tuesday?
Yeah, August 4th, correct.
August 4th, August 4th. And then my comment is that I actually was going to those, I was in those portables while they're in Kosciuszko, when it used to be Kosciuszko Middle School, which is 14, 15 years ago. So I could see why you do want to make those changes. It is, I feel like it is definitely necessary. So kudos to you trying to make that happen. So my next question to you is, last week you posted a video on Hamtramck Public Schools' decision on the upcoming fall school year about online learning, remote learning. A lot of parents asked me today, what are schools going to do? What are schools going to do? So, you guys, from watching that video, I think you had basically two different, basically you're going to have the school building open, correct? And then still remote learning, but the building being open for, EL and SPED services. Can you tell us, how long do you think that decision will stay in place? And, why did this decision come to fruition? How did this decision happen?
So as far as the COVID-19, we know that there are so many unknowns. The situation is so extremely fluid. We were hoping to move from phase 4 to phase 5. However, we may be looking at possibly moving back to phase 3 with the rate of things happening. Again, the less contact people make, the more cooperation to wear the masks and social distance, the more likely we will move from phase to phase. But unfortunately, it is summer. Summer is important an important time for us Michiganders. After dealing with all the bipolar weather all year, people want to go out, people want to be together and do the normal things. But doing so while not taking heed to the safety measures will put us at risk. So, with that being said, the situation is so fluid. Right now, the district made the decision to, because of the safety and where we are at, it is the best decision to do, to have the remote learning, keeping in mind that we do want our buildings open because we don't want to shut the doors on our families, on our students. If families have an issue, if students have a need, all students should be feel comfortable to go to the school and get whatever services, whatever supports or assistance that they require.
So, as of right now, like, what is the date for how long that's going to be for Hamtramck Public Schools, like this way of learning?
So again, each phase will determine how we will be operating. If we're in phase 1 to 3, then the entire state, all schools will have to be the way we were in March, in a remote learning environment. If we're in phase 4 and above, the district has the option to do what is in their best interest. Looking at the studies that were shared, there's a lot of inequities when it comes to our, certain races and ethnicities when it comes to vulnerability of COVID-19. And due to that, they're risking not only an illness, but even possible death. Knowing that we service a large population of economically disadvantaged students, English learners, brown and black children, that's a concern for us. So each district is going to have to make their own decision based on their demographics. For us, knowing what we know, we do not want to put our families, we do not want to put our students at risk. Another factor is the age groups of 65 and older are at a higher risk and are very vulnerable to this illness. Now, most of our students have a caregiver who are 65, their grandmothers, their aunties, putting their legs at risk. That's a huge challenge for our students. So knowing what we know, we can't safely just open up and operate the way we have. We have to really do this with caution. But again, it's important for us not to close our doors to knowing what we know in terms of the needs of our students. Our special needs students deserve and have a right to what is in their IEPs. The services, the English learners also need that support. They might need a longer scaffolding period to work with the technology and what have you. But we have to provide the supports that are needed for all students and also for our families. We believe in empowering our families as well and supporting them.
Thank you, and thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's just something that not only Hamtramck Public Schools, but I'm guessing like a lot of schools are going through the same situation. So just to hear that, people can like kind of understand where they're at, and I could direct them to this video so that they can hear what you just had to say. So as a superintendent, we're going to talk about some more, this question at least. I want to know, like, what's the one thing that you love to see the most, like, about your job? Like, what's number one that, like, makes you and excites you about what you do?
I love seeing the smiles of our students, hearing their laughter. And this is one of the sad things, knowing that our first day will not be the normal first day, because the first day is so special. I've had butterflies in my stomach as a student, and I had it as a teacher, and I have it as a superintendent. There's just something special and magical about the first day of school. I make it a habit to go from building to building and just see the smiles and hear the excitement from parents ready to just send their kids to us. This is so special, and it saddens me that this school year will be very different than what we're accustomed to. So seeing that, engaging in conversations with our students and just hearing from them is something that makes my day so much greater. I started the Student Youth Voice Engagement Committee when I was an ELD director, and hearing the thoughts, hearing the concerns from the students was just so amazing. And one thing that I shared with them was, I don't want to hear about issues. without you working to solve the issues. And a lot of the students went into political science, went into, certain fields with confidence because they felt empowered, like, yeah, someone does listen, someone does care. So just because we're students doesn't mean that we don't matter or our concerns don't matter. And I have since that, send me messages and have expressed concerns about certain things, and just listening to that and seeing how we can help is so critical, because every voice matters, every student matters. Seeing parents engaged in our schools, teachers leading. There's a lot of teachers that, they're just very tech savvy, and now they're taking these huge roles, and seeing them in their new role is just, it's wonderful to witness. We want everyone to be empowered, and definitely seeing it and seeing everyone take pride and have ownership in being at Hamtramck Public Schools. Having ownership is to always go above and beyond the call of duty, striving for excellence, and also putting 110 to everything that we do. These are things that I love to see.
Definitely. Just a couple things coming off those answers is, one, that first day of school feeling. It's true. I feel like everyone feels that way that works in the education department. I still take out my clothes and get it ready like the morning before, like I'm still a student or something. And then definitely a lot of the stuff that you mentioned, I agree with. So thank you for sharing that. And the tech savvy, like the ones, it's amazing how, like, you thought you knew all the teachers, right? And then the ones, once we moved to remote online learning, like some of them just, came out, and like you learned so much about them, and they helped out so much because they're so good with technology.
Yeah.
So definitely agree with that too. So, like I tell everybody, once I figure out who I'm going to interview, I kind of like do my research, and a lot of it pretty much through social media. So I was on your Facebook page, and I seen a post that mentioned, it's not what's on the head, it's what's in the head. And it had a picture of a woman wearing the hijab and also wearing her diplomas around her neck. Can you tell us more about that, what you meant by it's not what's on the head, it's what's in the head?
Sure. So, just to elaborate a little bit more about the post, the post was about the headscarf ban in Belgium's colleges. And the woman protesting had her hijab and was also wearing her degrees. And for me, that was such a powerful image, because it seems that, governments are always telling women what to do, what to wear, what to do with their bodies, what choices to be making. When it comes to how women dressed, this is another thing that, struck me. Again, for me as a Muslim, I feel it liberating to wear the hijab. The hijab is a crown on my head. It commands people to view me for my intellect. So this post really resonated with me.
Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I kind of understood the post. I just wanted to hear it from you, and maybe for someone that didn't see the post, and you explained it a lot better. And I love what you just said, that the hijab makes someone view me for my intellect, which is very deep. And I'm sure that people that do wear the hijab will respect that answer a lot. To me, in my eyes, you are a walking symbol of a strong, inspirational, and a motivational woman. So how does it feel to know there are women and even men out there, even like myself, who look up to you?
Thank you so much. It's definitely a very, very humbling, an inspiring feeling. And it's also, I feel more responsible in the role that I have. I want people to know that I had many bumps in the road. I had, a lot of challenging experiences growing up and in my life throughout. I want them to know that, despite these challenges, just maintaining who you are, your identity, and being clear on the vision and what you've set out to do. Going back, I want people to know that, among the challenges that I had was, even family members telling me that, no, you can't do this, that we don't want you to do that. I am, living proof that, despite what people say you can't do, if you stay strong, you will. And that's important to know. I was told many times that I wasn't good enough. Someone else was better than me, but I always defined who I was. I defined, what I want to accomplish. I set out to do what I wanted and what I wanted to accomplish. I want them to always dream big. I think it's important to never settle. Work hard. You can't dream big without working hard. You've got to work hard. You got to work hard and harder to attain what you want to accomplish. And I think also it's important not to listen to the noise. Beat to the rhythm of your own drums. And that's what I do. I don't listen to the noise. I block it and I just beat to the rhythm of my own drums.
And for someone that probably, because of the status that you're in, might hear a little more noise than an average person. So, and this is not a question that I have. It's almost a question that I try to tell people, like, I think it's the strongest thing to master is to knowing how to block out the noise. Like, it's not easy. Some people are not mentally strong enough to handle that. So I guess my question is, how do you do that? Like, what is your technique to block out the noise,
You've got to have tunnel vision. It's you have to see what you want. You have to know what it is you want to accomplish and know that this is all just interference. You got to block out the interference. You got to block out the noise. Have that tunnel vision and just keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. That's the main thing. Because once you stop, they won and you didn't.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm coming up with 2 different shirts, by the way, by the end of today. It's she can, she will. That's number 1. And then tunnel vision. All right. So I'm going to make sure we talk to somebody to make those shirts. My next question is, you are always trying to give back to the community any way that you can. Why do you feel it's important to give to the community and build a strong community relationship?
So every place I've served, I fall in love with the community. If I'm Dearborn, I just simply fall in love with the community, the members. When I'm in Detroit, Flint, Hamtramck has won my heart. It's my second home. I love the people. I love the rawness. I love the diversity. I love the cultures. For me, I can't simply just work. To me, this is not just a job. I have to know the people in the community. I look for opportunities to break bread with everyone, to hear their concerns, listen to their stories. And that's why I appreciate what you do. In order to be an effective leader, there has to be effort to know the people, build relationships, maintain relationships. Hamtramck Public Schools will be a stronger school district when we're working together, when we raise a child as a village. There are many good people in Hamtramck, and having a strong school district is not only focusing on the students, it's engaging with their families, it's empowering the community, it's going to the stores, eating at the restaurants, supporting the businesses. That's what it's all about.
And you definitely do that, just off of the stuff that you post every time, and your support, you're in there. So congratulations and great job with that. So again, going back to that, is every time I see a post about you, it seems like you're always working hard, or you're supporting, or you're always doing something great. But I never, well, at least me, I have not seen, like, what are your hobbies and what do you enjoy doing? And No man, I don't know if anyone has ever asked you that because you're always working hard. So like, what are some of the things that you enjoy doing?
So some people don't know this about me, but I love to cook,
Okay.
and I'm a big foodie. I had foodie friends, and I say it with some sadness, because with the my current role, I put 60 plus hours. I don't have time to do some of the things that I've done before. But yeah, I'm a big foodie. I had a blog, and I would post different types of foods, and I was trying to grow that. And my goal was to inspire people that work to cook at home, different strategies. You can have it all. You don't have to eat from a box. You don't have to waste your money and purchase food from outdoors. Restaurants, you can have fresh, healthy foods. So yeah, definitely, I love cooking. I love organizing. I love reading. I love spending time with my family. We'll sing around a bonfire. We'll do really quirky things. My children are a big part of my life. Their interests in what they do. My son is big time into stocks and trades and all that, and just seeing him grow is fascinating to me. So I try to learn about that to get more involved with him. My daughter is won second place state championship in Taekwondo. I try to support her with her endeavors. So it's being very involved in the family is very important to me. I love anything to do in the water, canoeing, kayaking, and we have so many beautiful lakes and rivers in Michigan. Why go anywhere else? So yeah, I just reading as often as I can. You can't improve in as an educator if you're not kept abreast on the latest research. And I know you're talking about hobbies, but maybe I'm a nerd. I do love to read and research.
Yeah, no, that reading is definitely a category of a hobby. So thank you again for sharing that, and that's awesome. Nice to hear, that side of you because everyone thinks that professionals all they do, especially students, might think like, hey, it's all they do is work, 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 work. Like they don't have like a personal life or they don't have anything that they do for fun. Well, thanks for sharing that, and I'm happy that you still get a chance to do most of that stuff too. So the questions I usually ask all my guests, obviously other than can you tell us about yourself, is what gets you up every morning? So what is your motivational factor?
That's a great question. And as a superintendent, that was something in the opening message that I shared with all staff. What is why? What's your purpose? And I pointed out a photograph of a custodian who was mopping at the what is it called? Oh goodness, I'm losing my train of thought. I'm losing my train of thought, but he was mopping, and President Kennedy approaches him and says, "What are you doing?" And he was at the Space Center. And yes, he was at the Space Center. President Kennedy asks him, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I'm helping take a person to the moon." And then that was such a powerful image and such a powerful statement because, every one of us has a purpose. If, the custodian, service, teacher, principal, the superintendent, we all have a purpose. And what helps me wake up, and my why waking up in the morning is that it's our students. The responsibility that I have for the students. I have a deep passion when it comes to serving, when it comes to lifting everyone that I encounter. My biggest motivation is to empower our students, parents, staff, because together we'll definitely make a greater difference.
Thank you for sharing that. That is a great story to share. I can see why you took that approach too, because every person has a purpose, and every person, when they work together, can accomplish one big goal as well. So
Absolutely.
thanks for sharing that. And then my last question is for someone who may be walking in the same or similar footsteps as you, what advice would you give them? Motivate me.
I think it's important for the individual to know themselves. Know yourself, know your interests, know your likes, know your dislikes. Build confidence. Once you discover who you are and what you desire, go for it. Again, ignore the interference, ignore the noise. You've got to have tunnel vision, dream big, work hard, work harder. I'm going to say it because you've got to put a lot to get, the output, to get what you seek to your goals, your desires. But I think it's also important that, you will attain anything that you desire. But I think it's also important to note that, you've got to remember to be humble. You've got to remember to have compassion, to be kind, during your journey, and also in your destination, because it's always, best to give than to receive.
Definitely. And thank you so much for saying that. And any final words, any final thoughts out there that you want to share before we end this live feed?
I just, want to thank you for all you're doing. I think it's so important to, lift the voices and hear the stories, and everyone's got their own narrative. The fact that you're getting multiple people from different backgrounds. I especially love when you have our, HPS alumni. That's very special to see and see our students out there in the real world making a difference. The only thing I would just like to say is, I thank and appreciate the community of Hamtramck. They've been very supportive. We're starting our second year, and it's not the traditional start that we'd like, but I can't emphasize enough the importance of us working together during these difficult times. And I think with that, we'll achieve more.
Thank you for doing this interview. If you want to just hold on like a second after I'm done going live, just so we can close out you and I. But again, thank you guys all for watching. This is another interview on Motivate Me 313. I'm Omar Thabit. This is Ms. Jaleelah Ahmed, Superintendent of Hamtramck Public Schools.